Okay, so I'm going to go in with the Milani foundation. It says that it's a concealer as well as a foundation, so I'm going to try to not need concealer, but if we put it on and we feel like it's necessary, then we will go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to use an IT Cosmetics foundation brush. This is going to definitely be darker than my skin tone, but I always bring it down my neck, so that's fine. Okay, so I did put on a pretty even layer. I feel like with my foundation brush, I can't quite get up into the under eyes to really test out if this is a good concealer or not. So I'm going to use my beauty blender, and I'm going to kind of focus more on the inner corners. It's not a beauty blender, it's just a makeup sponge, but you know what I'm saying. Because it is pretty thick, I feel like if you could get it under your eye, then it would act as a concealer. So much better. I don't know if you guys can tell a difference on camera, but it is a lot better. Okay, so I just blended the rest of the foundation in with a blender ball, and I definitely think this has the coverage of also a concealer. I think that is some correct advertising. However, you do have to apply a pretty liberal amount of product on either your brush or your face or your blender ball, whatever you're using, to get it to work like a concealer as well. But I definitely think that it can. It put a very thick layer over my skin. I do have oily skin and textured skin like I mentioned before, so I'm interested to see how this wears for the rest of the day. So now I'm going to go in and set the foundation as well as contour, because I normally contour with my concealers, but since we skipped that step, since this was a 2-in-1, I'm going to have to go in and do it with powder. I'm going to go in with the Airspun in Naturally Neutral under my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, on my chin, and on my forehead. And I apply a large amount because I'm going to let it bake into my skin. This is just the #1 trick. If you have oily skin, do this. Let your skin bake. It'll look kind of crazy, but trust me, it works. And then I'm going to go in with my Bobbi Brown and Elvis Duran. It's the shade 14. And I'm just going to contour. Actually, I normally use a big brush to do this, but since I didn't do the contour with the concealer, I'm going to go in with an angled brush. And I just start at the tip of my ear and go down, but you'll just want to do it wherever, if you make a fish face, where your cheekbones are. And the place you put down your brush with product first is where it's going to be the darkest. So I like that to be here as opposed to starting at my mouth and going up. I don't want just a random brown spot by my mouth. Okay, now I'm going to contour my nose, and I'm just going to use a little brush also with the bronzer. And I like my nose contour to come from my eyeshadow, just because if it's connected to my eyes, I feel like then it's not floating. Sometimes I see people with a nose contour and it looks like two parallel lines just kind of floating on their face. So I like it to come from my eyeshadow, and then I bring it down my nose. Eyeshadow, I'm going to go in with the Naked Reloaded palette today. And I'm just going to do a quick eye look. This is one of the brushes. The Naked Reloaded actually didn't come with a brush, which I never noticed until now. But this is just my brush from the Honey palette. It's actually one of my favorite brushes. I use this all the time. So I'm just going to go in with a light brown and reinforce that bronze. And then I'm going to go in with that bucked color and just put it on the bottom of my waterline as well. So then I'm going to go in with Burn. It's kind of a pinky but almost rose goldy kind of shimmery color, and I'm just going to put that on my lid using a flat brush. The reason why it's great to bake your contour, because if you have any fallout from the eyeshadow underneath your eyes, when you wipe away your powder, you'll just wipe the color away. So that's another reason why I do it. Okay, so that's pretty much all I'm going to do for my eyeshadow. Now I'm going to go in and do my eyebrows. So first I like to use, I can grab it, the IT Cosmetics Brow Power, and this is in the color Universal Taupe. And I just like to go in and outline my brows lightly. And then I like to go in with some sort of brow gel. Today I'm using the Hourglass Brow Shaping Gel. And I just like to work it through my eyebrows. Okay, so next thing is I'm going to line my lids with the Urban Decay Perversion eyeliner. I really like this eyeliner. This one and the Kat Von D, in my opinion, are the best eyeliner pens. And then I like to use the Urban Decay Perversion mascara. I'm actually not super big on luxury mascaras, but because I think honestly drugstore mascaras can be just as good, but this one really is exceptionally good, I will say. And now I'm going to go in with my Rimmel Maxi Blush, and this is in the shade Third Base. It also has a little bit of a shimmer to it. Okay, and now I'm just going to go in and do my lips. I like to use a brown brow pencil and the Kylie Cosmetics. This has been my go-to lately in the color, I think it's Cocoa K. And then I'll go over it with a gloss, and then we will be done here. Okay guys, so this is my finished makeup look. I just went in and lined my lips with my brown NYX pencil, my Kylie Cosmetics in the color Cocoa K, and Revlon and Sandstorm. So that completes my makeup look. I really like this foundation. It definitely is full coverage. I don't know if I probably would like it more doing my normal concealer routine underneath it, because I do feel like I had to use a lot more of the Milani product to get the job done. But I do think if you don't have concealer, this can replace your concealer. So I think the advertising on it is correct. I just think I personally would like to use my concealer with this more. But it is full coverage, and I think the coverage is really pretty. So I'm going to wear this for the next 8 to 10 hours, and I'll give you guys an update on what I think about it. But so far, this is one of my favorite drugstores, just off of the initial first impression that I've used. Okay, y'all, so it's now 8 o'clock. This is my 8-hour wear test. And in some regards, I think this foundation is so great because if you look at it, it hasn't broken apart. It's not patching off of my skin, and I cannot say that for most foundations by the end of the day. I have extremely oily skin. I do think it's accentuating a lot of my skin texture. I have large pores, I have textured skin. So could I probably find a better foundation for textured skin? Yes. But as far as foundation, full coverage, staying on my face, I think this did a really good job for the 8 hours. I would definitely still grab this. I think I would use this more though, maybe if I just had a lunch I was going to, an event, was doing something with multimedia, so taking photos or doing videos, something like that, where it wasn't necessarily needing to be used all day. I think I would definitely use this because it did look good, more of that like perfect kind of face blurring full coverage for about the first 4 hours, and then after that it did start settling into some of my skin imperfections. I also think if you don't have textured skin or wrinkles, anything like that, then you might not have that same kind of textury effect like I do. Like I have very textured skin, I got large pores, so I can definitely admit that. I would still grab for this, and I think for the money, this is a really, really good deal. As far as skin texture goes, I'm still on the hunt for the perfect foundation. If I had to wear something all day, I might even grab the Urban Decay Naked one. I haven't worn it for a full 24 hours, but I believe that's what it claims. And I did a video on my first impression of that here. It's just not a full coverage foundation, but it does sit on your skin pretty all day. So I'll leave a link to that video there, but I'm still on the hunt for the world's perfect full coverage foundation all day for textured skin, but I would still give this a thumbs up and still pick it up. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for watching this first impressions video. Let me know what other foundations you guys would like a first impressions of. These are super fun to do, and actually it makes me pay attention to my own makeup so much more because normally by the end of the day I'm so busy taking it off that I'm kind of over it. So make sure you follow me on Instagram at MadisonReedPayn and subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and until my next video, bye!